like a little bit of clothes on my bed. Right before I leave the door, I'll say, don't go into my room. Then she said, I cannot stand it. Then I said, don't make your problem my problem.
This might be the last birthday we spent together. And I remember thinking, oh, I'm gonna miss this.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hot Pot where we hop into different transitions in life. I'm Q.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Joey. And today we're talking about family expectations and how that has evolved from childhood to adulthood.
Wow, this is a big topic here in Asia.
Yeah.
My chest is heavy just thinking about it. Suddenly I think of all the past trauma.
Can I just say today we're very cozy on this couch, like all on one couch. I love it.
However, we all have to cross the same leg.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we will be foot seeing each other.
So if
and
we
I do
swap,
not want that.
I don't
all
want...
must swap same time.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, I did not get the
One, two,
memo.
three.
All right. If you're listening
Wow,
on
HIIT
Spotify,
sia.
go watch YouTube. Okay, so to start us off, let's share what our childhood was like with our parents when we
Wow.
were younger.
One thing I always remember is that my mother will never allow me to put my leg up while I'm eating.
Like,
That's
like that,
an expectation. Yeah, I want to.
Or
There's
like
something about
qiao
eating
jiao.
like that, you know.
Like uncle, yeah,
Yeah.
it's damn show.
It's damn sure.
I still do it today.
Yeah. And my mom never allowed me to like burp out loud also.
oh,
Oh.
You must be a lady. That's what she
your
said.
brother can burp out loud?
Can. My
Wow.
brother also can put the leg up.
Is it?
But now I don't care. I just like do
Actually,
whatever
last time I
want.
always put my leg up. Then my parents also always say, but then now my mobility not so good. So I
Oh,
want,
your hip.
Yeah, I want to put, I want to put up also.
You
like,
go home stretch a
I
bit.
cannot put up.
You go home stretch.
Yeah, I need to really stretch.
Okay, but on a serious note, like, were there any expectations from your parents growing
Wow, I
up?
think my parents' expectations of me were quite high, but I think they weren't unreasonably high when I look back. I think like for myself and my siblings, they expect us to fulfill our potential. So then like they will sort of see like, okay, what are the areas that each kid is good at, and then you better deliver in those areas lah.
I think it's a oldest child problem, right?
Yeah.
And then only child, youngest child. I was just doing whatever I want.
Yeah.
kind of.
I'm just talking to myself.
Yeah, I was quite stressed as a kid.
Oh.
Because I think early on, like my studies were quite good. But then they taper off very quickly.
The moment X came into the picture, is it?
X is more.
Algebra.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
same.
I think it was about that point.
When they say 5X, like, ooh.
Yeah,
No.
so
I just can see why.
Yeah.
suddenly like results like damn jialat. Then after that it became like, okay, sports. So sports was my thing lah. But then they will always be like, you should be scoring higher and things like that. Even though I would score higher than my sister, but they would never say anything about my sister.
Because you already set the benchmark
Yeah,
yourself,
because
right?
they know that
Yeah.
like, okay, my sister is performing as expected or beyond expectations,
But you're falling
whereas
off.
I'm not meeting
Could
expectations.
be better.
Yeah.
Both my siblings, right, they always got straight A's or A, B, you know? My parents never really set that expectation on me that I need to be like them. But knowing and watching them come home with like great report cards, right, I always felt the need to do as well as them. And I remember primary 3, primary 4 when I failed my math, right, I came back, hide under the dressing table, I cried. But
Then-
nobody scolded me. I just own self cried. I just crying and crying and crying. Then my mom like,
So you
it's
expect
okay.
a lot from yourself.
It's like self-inflicted pain.
It's okay lah, never mind lah. That's
But-
why got A for the whole family.
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
I think like
goodness.
sometimes it's from parents, but sometimes it's
Yeah.
also like indirectly.
Yeah.
Self-inflicted. I guess you see your siblings and then you want to achieve that standard as well.
As an only child, did you feel that way?
I made my parents give me a curfew.
You made your parents give you a
Yeah.
curfew.
Are you okay?
I FOMO from my friends who had curfews. So like every time we want to go out, right? Then they'll be like, you must be home by 10. Then my friends were like, cannot, I cannot stay out too late, cannot watch the movie at night because they need to be home by 10.
Right.
Then I was like, wow.
How come
why,
I don't need to be
why I
home?
don't have curfew? Then
You're jealous.
it was like I appreciate the freedom, but I see everyone like, oh no, I can't, I have to go. Then the FOMO becomes you go alone.
Right. Means your parents were quite chill lah.
My parents were so chill, but I think it's because I was a good kid. Like I was a pretty good kid, reliable.
Right. Results good. Okay lah, acceptable.
Acceptable. I like to go tuition. As I say in other episodes, I like to go tuition because I got pencil case. I got tuition.
Oh my god, you
pencil
finally
case.
got to say the story
Yes.
because Nick interrupted you.
That's why I like tuition, because like then I can
Because
have
got boys,
no,
right?
then I can have my no. It's because then I can have
Last time
my
my tuition got a lot of 菜.
Yeah, and I answer in the comments. Can go and find. But Yeah, I loved going for tuition. Not that I purposely failed, but like you, I had other interests. I was in like every CCA possible. So I just like being a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my problems were very like the tuition teacher come my house and I throw the assessment book away because I never do the homework. That's the most I would do as a kid.
PTSD, I really hated tuition. I had so much tuition, but like,
Huh?
Eh,
yeah, I
You're
think I
right,
need a
it's alright.
moment.
Yeah, but other than that, I think expectation wise, they always told me as long as you try your best, there's nothing better that you can do already.
Yeah, I think like after that, when I was a bit older, after O levels, right, that was the point where I realized that actually my parents were quite good parents. I think like the way that they went about like dealing with my siblings and I was the correct way. Because there was a point where, you know, after O levels, and I think our era was still the era where like, okay, go JC better than poly, right? And then I was coming from like a secondary school that was also little bit elitist and was like trying to push everybody to go to JC lah. But my parents, I said, okay, I want to go and study mass comm, and they were like, yep, I think you will do well there, go. Even though my dad, I could tell he was also a bit trying to like not give in to like, you know, the
social norms.
the JC mentality lah.
Right.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned JC, what hit close to home was me not going to uni. Yeah, so my dad was the one person that was quite insistent on me going to uni. He had the older generation mentality that with a uni degree, you get paid better.
I mean, it depends on which field you go into lah, right? I mean, for like, I think the media industry may or may not be the case.
Yeah, so I tried to reason it out with him. I think even after so many years, he always tell me in Mandarin my biggest regret is not insisting that you go to uni.
Wow.
Then I'm like, but I'm happy doing my thing, you know.
and you're doing so well for
And must it
yourself.
be like a NUS, NTU, SMU kind of thing? Or like can go and do part-time private degree?
I think to him it's just the paper, just the degree.
Oh.
Yeah, but he did want me, I think specifically want me to go into a local U.
Yeah. Same. My dad also, he was an NUS
Grad.
kid lah. So he was also like, why don't you try and go into local? So I was like, no lah, I'll go and get a degree, but I want to work. So I did my degree part-time while working also. And then in the end, it paid off lah, cause end up, I think the people who from my batch who were doing the NUS, NTU, SMU, they only started working like they just started working. Then when my dad saw how the last few years have played out, right? Then now he's very accepting of my brother. Like my brother doesn't have all those challenges.
Is your brother the youngest?
Yes.
No,
Oh, yeah
it's
lah.
always my
It's always the
brother always say
youngest.
this also. He's the guinea pig.
Yeah.
He will have to do all the shit on his own, and then we get the easy way out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Wait, so Q, how did you convince your dad?
I mean, back then I just told him that I want to take a gap year, and then it eventually became a job. Then like, oops, look where I am now. But I think now, I just tell him my salary plus like all my side income.
Then you're like, oh.
And then then my brother and my sister will like be like, she's earning more than us sometimes on some months, you know.
Yeah.
Then he's like, okay. But I feel like no matter what, he will always hold on to that.
I think it
Yeah.
also stems from just old tradition, like conventional paths that stem again from him wanting the best for his children.
Yeah.
But I think where is that line, right? Wanting the best for your kid and dictating their lives. For my parents, I think from when I was a child already, they knew I was a very artistic kid. So I grew up with my parents doing music, so I was always singing. And they would pressure me to sing in front of people to the point where I'll cry sometimes because I don't want to. Like, it's really a gathering at Christmas. I sing. Then like, Joey can sing. Then I stand there like,
Oh, you were that kid. You were that cousin. Oh.
you think I want?
I have
And
a
I'll be
cousin.
like,
I
I don't
have
want,
that
I don't
cousin
want.
also. The
Like kind of pressured, is
Yeah.
play
it?
piano. Hey, Chinese New Year, play piano.
If you cry like, I don't want, they won't buy it, right? So I just like, no, I don't want. Then they were like, okay, don't force her.
But do you think that they would feel like Joey can't do such a simple thing? You know, like did you worry that was how they would feel?
No, I think I valued my comfort levels more. As
Actually,
a
quite
kid.
interesting.
That's
oh.
good, as a
I cannot
kid.
imagine parents today like asking their kids to do that.
Like why must force us
Like-
to perform?
Like must perform.
Exposure therapy.
Like,
Oh
sit,
my god,
sit,
exposure therapy.
It's really exposure therapy. You know the
Stay.
tube girl, like
stay. Yeah.
even my crafts, when I did things right, they would make me do show and tell for everyone. Okay, when I say make me, I felt like it was a make me because as a kid, I didn't want to parade all these things.
Yeah.
But I see it now from their perspective. It was them supporting me.
They like being
and
proud
being
of
like,
you
yeah,
lah,
they were
yeah
being
lah.
proud of me, you
Like
know.
a little museum.
Yeah, so I never saw it as pressure. I think I'm very thankful that my parents saw that my interest and passion lies in like arts, and they didn't pressure me to. Of course, they were worried. I mean, until now, my dad, is like, "Are you sure you are doing okay?" Even if I'm doing okay, what I'll do is I'll tell him numbers. I'll be like, "Hey, they pay me this much, eh?"
Yeah.
He'll be like, "Oh, okay, but one time only what?" You know, like they really think about long term.
Yeah.
So, and I don't blame them, you know.
Yeah, and I think for me, just now when you asked that question, right? I think I needed to convince him using the industry that I'm in. That it's all about portfolio. It's about the work that you've done before.
Yeah.
It's not about the paper. Like sometimes people don't even hire you, and they don't even look at your certs.
credentials. Yeah. I think it's becoming more common now, even in the corporate world,
Yeah.
where they look at your skill set rather than your paper, because it's been proven time and time again that the paper really doesn't mean anything.
And your work experience, like, because I mean, in a market like Singapore where everybody has a degree, then
Yes.
it's not really a differentiating
Yeah,
factor also, right?
exactly.
Yeah. Not to say that you shouldn't go and upskill lah. Yeah, education is still important. But yes.
I got a story to tell.
Let's
Okay.
do it.
About education. So, like I said, my parents didn't really set any expectations for me. But then I think my cousins, they all do very well. JC, degree holder,
Yes.
lawyer, doctors, PhD. So growing up, I never felt like I fit in, especially when we go to family gatherings and stuff. But then there was this one year, I think when I was about 21, when I decided not to go to uni and I went to work first. One of my cousins actually brought their +1 and he introduced my other cousins, like, oh, she's a doctor, a lawyer, right? Whatever. And my genius cousin. And then he pointed at me and my sister and said, and these are my normal cousins.
Oh.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, so that was one incident that really like scarred me and made me feel like, oh my god, I'm so basic. I'm like very inferior in comparison to these people.
Cousin of Q, if you see this, please go and apologize.
PRSTUV.
No, but it's been so many
whoever
years.
you are.
Okay, so moving on, right? Now, we talked about like our childhood a bit. What do parental expectations look like now for your in adulthood?
The one thing that I can think of is that my dad still wants me to get married ASAP. Yeah.
Wow, actually, when did this start?
Only recent years, he realized like, 28 still living under my roof.
Quite interesting, because there was a time where I think Singaporean parents are very protective of
They
daughters.
don't want you to move out,
They
right?
don't want you to go out. They don't want you to have boyfriend. Don't want you to have girlfriend. Then suddenly overnight they decide like actually no time already, late already.
I think late 27, they start thinking about it.
Yeah, then they don't. Do they realize that actually it's because of the years of being very strict, right? Then they limit their children like meeting people and dating.
Oh my
and
gosh,
things like that.
so I should have blamed my dad. Papa, it's
Yeah.
because of you
Yeah.
But
you asked me to
your
go out.
parents got-
Ring.
Your parents got say before last time cannot have boyfriend.
No lah.
Okay, then you cannot lah.
As in, my dad always say no to staying over at their house.
Oh.
Yeah.
But actually, now that I'm married, I can say this, right? Because if my parents watch, they angry also, no use. I'm married already. But okay, I was very like boy crazy as a kid. Like, I had crushes all the time, and hang out with a lot of boys. My parents were always very okay with me hanging out with boys. Like one girl in a group of 5 boys, 6 boys, they were totally fine with it. But when it comes to me liking boys, I would always pretend that I'm celibate.
Oh.
I don't want them to worry because I know I'm responsible, and I don't want them to pry. I wasn't lying to like hide things.
I think this is more of a girl problem. Lah. I didn't have to hide lah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
They disapprove, but they'll be like, you make your own decision.
Don't get a woman pregnant, can
Don't
already.
get anybody
yes,
pregnant,
yes.
can
Oh, my mom also always tell me that. You just don't come home pregnant, can already. But then now, right, my mother's like mentality changed. She became such a modern mom. She said, if you ever one day become a single mom, I'll support you. I said, Mommy, I don't want it.
It's very obvious that her desire for a grandchild is higher than her desire for a son-in-law.
No, to her, it's just that she thinks that it's fine
It's
even if I decide.
unconditional love
Right.
from Mrs. Lim.
Yeah. Sorry lah, Mrs. Lim.
Mommy, shut up.
Okay, what about balancing like family time? How much time do you all spend with your family?
How about
now?
you tell us?
Yeah, you.
As
Wow.
a man.
Work has been quite xiong and like because Jess and I moved out to our own place already, right? So I haven't been staying with my family for many years already since I was like nearly 8 years already. So now like I try to see my family maybe 2 or 3 times a month. And then on Jess's side, we see her family about once a week also for dinner lah. So I think like Jess's side, they really like, okay, every Sunday is
They very bonded,
family
is it?
dinner. Whereas my parents are more like, okay lah, when you're free, then you let us know. Then we will be here. Because my siblings are still staying with my parents. So they don't really need to have that like weekly family
They
dinner.
don't need you lah.
Yeah, they don't need me.
That's harsh.
It's only when I need them, then I'll be like, shall we have dinner? But
I
whenever,
think you need to reflect a little bit.
whenever I ask for dinner, they have never like say not free.
But do you think your parents actually expect you to be around more, but they just don't voice it out? And you being the son that you are, also don't initiate.
But I think it's because my entire life they've always been like, you make your own decisions and like we will always just be there to support you lor. We try to not have too high expectations of you. Just live your best life.
Right.
Yeah, just be a good person and live your best life.
Be kind.
Wow.
Yeah. Question part! The paper changed.
Oh, quality.
Recyclable. What superpower do you wish to have? Wow.
I think for you,
Oh my
to never be
gosh.
tired.
Oh. Wow. Actually, I don't mind being immortal.
Wow, no thanks, man.
But what if you're tired forever?
Last time I got think Edward Cullen life like not bad. Like Edward Cullen but with the ability to sleep for fun.
Edward Cullen and Nicholas Yim is not a sentence I would have strung.
What is a quote that you live by? Oh my god.
Wow.
Actually, no, because recently I started reading a book by Jay Shetty.
Okay.
Think Like a Monk. So it's basically don't criticize, don't complain, and don't compare.
Wow. Very apt for this episode.
Not credit card, condo, car. Is
Yes.
Criticize, complain and compare.
Yeah, because that's negativity.
If the person on your right was arrested, what do you think their crime would be? Being too damn hot.
No, for real.
Yeah.
No, for real. Like,
So
imagine.
person on the right is you lah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, is it like real crime?
Yeah, just
Okay, real
Shoplifting.
crime.
I feel like it will be like you get drunk then public nuisance.
Hey, your question or her
Oh, sorry,
question?
sorry.
Embezzlement.
No lah.
I don't
Still
know
not
how.
smart enough, yeah.
But I feel like
Babes, that's out of my... I can't.
So how do you feel about this frequency of seeing your in-laws more than your parents?
Okay, because I think for me, like, how much I see someone, like, in person doesn't really dictate, like, how close
Quality
you are. Yeah.
over quantity.
And I think, like,
That's true.
my folks and I, we text quite regularly, lah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Really?
Got
Yeah,
What you
yes.
talk about?
Actually, recently, a lot of times, I just keep sending the scam news. Like, please don't get scammed.
You're too
Hey,
young
that
to
is
do that.
like love, actually.
Are you the only one doing that, or is everyone doing that?
Oh, no, only me, lah.
I asked because I got my paternal side, right? My dad has like 6 or 7 siblings.
Oh, they will all send,
Everybody send Then it's like 1 week can drink tap water, 1 week cannot. Then like
Oh.
maybe last month they say potato very toxic. Then this month potato is a good carb.
Interesting,
Mine is just my parents and I, lah. So it's really more like life updates, when we're meeting next.
Yeah.
If I'm traveling, then I just give them a heads up that, oh, by the way, away from this date to this date.
Yeah,
That kind of thing.
same. I
Yeah.
think for me, my parents, especially my dad, he did voice out that we are not spending as much time together anymore. But then I personally find it very hard to find things to do together because we have such different interests.
Yeah.
Like my dad doesn't like to travel. My mom loves traveling. My dad loves playing mahjong. My mom hates mahjong. So we can't find an
Yeah.
activity to play together. And we also go bowling. Recently, we want to plan a bowling
So cute.
day with my mom, but my dad doesn't want to go.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So it's always like,
Yeah, I think quite hard. Sometimes when your parents, like, they like to do different things.
Yeah.
Especially at this stage of their lives where they're like they want to really live their lives fully, right?
Yeah.
They won't do things they don't want to do. One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, do you feel that you guys are not spending enough time with your parents? Especially when you're considering that they are getting older. There's this
Yeah.
guilt that I feel once in a while. But
bit
I'm not
lah.
actively doing anything about it, and I feel very bad about it.
A little bit, but then I think it's also cyclical, right? It's also because like are your parents retired? Not working anymore, right? So they have a lot more free time. That's why they also will be like, actually like nothing to do. Where's everybody? Never see anybody at home. But that's because you are working, ma.
Yup.
And it was the same thing when like with them and our grandparents also.
Yeah.
Where like you are working, that's why you only see them like once a week,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So cycle of life.
See, matter of fact, practical. Circle of life.
I try to put in as much effort as I can, lah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe I need to set some reminders on my phone.
Yeah.
If that helps,
Yeah.
I think about 2 years ago, I was celebrating my dad's birthday. So, okay, my parents are divorced. And this was before Charlie came to Singapore. So, it was just my dad and I. And that birthday, I remember I baked him a cake. And then we were celebrating at home. My God, I'm going to cry. My dad said, let's take a photo because this might be the last birthday we spend together. And I remember thinking, oh, I'm going to miss this. So we took the photo. I went to my room. And my dad is very non-emotional. I would have to tell him, like, can you say I love you back? Then he will say I love you back to me. So I remember going to my room and crying because I felt so guilty. Like, my parents gave me this really good life in the best way that they could. And I'm going to up and leave and have my own best life overseas. And then what happens if I don't make it back in time in the future? So I was crying. I felt so guilty. And I finally texted him because I know if I talk to him about it, I will feel worse because he'll just stand there and be like, it's okay. You know, so I texted him. I said, I feel so guilty that I'm leaving you and now you're not with mom, you know, like you're not
like
together
alone.
with, so you're going to be alone. And I feel like I am not doing my duty, but I'm not his life partner. You know, if I want to be the best daughter is to live the best life that I can live, right? So, and that is me being overseas. And then my dad replied me, oh, no, when you move, I can have the house to myself. I can do all this anytime I want, you know? It's good. I'm excited also. Then my tears.
It's like you don't see yourself do ups lah, Joey Tan.
Yeah.
Like,
I was like, oh, cool.
it's also the single child stress, huh?
It's the single child stress. And like, my dad is very practical also, but he's also very spiritual. So I don't know if you all believe in that, but my dad went to Swan for me. Like he was counting, right? And he says that I need to live in a country that has winter for my personality. Can you don't laugh? Don't laugh at Sam. Sam is very accurate in his predictions.
What does winter mean?
No, because like I'm very 火气, right? Like my personality is very
So
fiery.
just need to be cold.
So you need to have seasons lah.
Maybe I need to go with you.
Yeah.
So at which point count as got seasons?
You cannot count our like suddenly 18 degree as winter lah.
Yeah.
The other day my friend was at Chinatown and then she walked past my dad and he was watching our podcast.
Oh yeah, I saw that
yeah.
IGS.
Oh my god, then I cry again.
Oh, yeah, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about family holidays? When was the last time you traveled as a family?
Oh, I want you to cry again.
For some people, like really very young, like I have friends who I think primary school or secondary school was the last time they traveled with their family.
Same. And that's how I knew my parents were gonna get divorced.
Wow.
Really?
I remember like saying like, can we go holiday again? Can we go holiday again? Can we go holiday again? And then it just never happened. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I just knew like,
Something was off.
I guess we're just not that kind of family. To say that I don't feel like I missed out would be a lie because ideally, you know, it would have been nice. But I don't think I would have missed out on much because it wouldn't have been the kind of trip I wanted it to be anyway. Yeah. But I know of friends who, like the parents were like, oh, my parents are making me join them on this trip. I don't want to go. Like I also really want to go to this other trip with my friends, but clash that I must go with my family. I'm like, wow, can't relate.
Yeah. I have friends also like now we are at the age where a lot of our like, parents are retired, right? Then they want to travel. So the parents expect their kids to book and plan trips and bring them overseas.
Oh my god, it's true.
Oh, yes.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think my mom expects that, but I feel like I should be the one doing that now because I'm more tech savvy. I'm more aware of like
How to
maybe
plan
good
itinerary.
trips.
flights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cheaper flights. So actually regarding family trips, like I mentioned, my dad doesn't like traveling and my mom has a lifelong dream of going to Iceland. So next year I'm gonna bring her to Iceland.
the best.
But I
goodness.
haven't bought the tickets yet. But then that is my goal as a daughter to bring her to Iceland. Just the two of us. Zezé Coco, you're not invited. Just saying.
Girls trip.
Yes, I think I'm trying to spend time with my mom separately and then my dad separately also. Like just have like more late night talks with him in the living room. That kind of moments. Because I think my dad is a very simple man. He doesn't need much. He just wants to talk. and have dinners and meals together.
Yeah.
This is inspiring me to want to go on a trip with my dad.
Do it.
Yeah.
But I'm scared I just cry every day.
No, it's better to cry than to not do it at all.
Yeah. It's true, it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about financial support for your parents?
As in, we
Like-
give them money.
Or rather, what are their expectations in terms of like you supporting them financially?
I think my dad earns like at least 2.5 to 3 times my pay. So
Oh, he's still working lah.
my dad is,
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
yeah, he's living it up, man. I'm like, damn, good on you, Mr. Tan.
Okay, so he doesn't expect anything.
No, I
Don't need
actually
lah.
offered before. Like,
It's just like I can take care of myself.
I was like, guys, I don't need my allowance anymore. Then they know lah, we give that. Oh.
Actually, when you all take allowance until
Until I started working lah, until I had a job, I had to tell them to stop paying for my phone bill. I want some responsibilities. And they were like, okay.
Oh.
As in, I think the right thing to do is to stop taking their money when you got income.
Yeah,
But to
it's
give
true.
back, I think some people do not agree in giving their parents money. But
Oh, is it?
as in, I feel that it's the right thing to do. But the amount is not as important. I think it's about the
意思.
Xing Yi.
Yeah,
Xing Yi
yeah,
is what again?
The thought lah, it's the
The
thought
thought,
that counts.
yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
So you give to your parents monthly.
Yes.
What about you, Nick?
No, last couple of years, when I started to bring it up to them, like, hey, do you need, like, I can chip into, like, even though I'm not staying there already, I can chip into the house, like, with allowance and things like that. Then they were saying that, oh, because you bought a house, like mortgage, down payment, then now got wedding and things like that. After you settle all these things, then we discuss.
Oh,
But
that's
they don't-
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't also, but because I live with my dad, then I just buy things for the house. Take care of him that way lah. That's the way I can,
Yeah.
whatever I can do.
What about household chores, guys?
Household chores.
Yeah, family
Wow.
expectations.
Cannot relate.
After I seen him complain about hair so many times, I cannot change the hair problem, but I can change the cleaning. lah. So I
Technically, you can change the hair problem.
what am I to do? Shave my head.
Or wear hair knit. That's what people do in restaurants.
Why my household need to have NEA requirement?
Or like cut short or edgy ma.
Cut short, the hair will still drop. Your follicles
Oh
stay
yeah,
the same.
true. But then now what does your dad expect you to do versus what he's willing to do himself?
Actually, now that we have Charlie loves vacuuming. And he will like vacuum for
Oh my
us.
god, you married him for the chores, is it?
You see, I very smart. I buy the very cool vacuum, buy a cool Dyson, right? Then they both love. Charlie like to check like what dust particle 90%. Woo! Like he like to go and look at the meter.
Is that there's a baby Dyson
Yeah.
for parents to buy for their children.
Yes, then they can actually use
it's a
it.
game for them to go
Yeah.
and vacuum. Yeah.
But I would say my father doesn't
Expect.
expect. Like he'll be like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? I will admit I'm quite messy. So sometimes if he really cannot tahan, like shoes, I don't put the shoes back in the cabinet. Then he will take photo and be like, I cannot walk. Then I-
Pair gross, yeah.
No, actually, for my mom also, I think I mentioned before that she's quite particular.
Yeah.
Even if it's my room, a little bit of clothes on my bed, right before I leave the door, I'll say, don't go into my room. I'll say, don't go into my room. If you don't want to face it, you don't look at it. Then just
Yeah.
close the door. Then she said, I cannot stand it. I said, don't make your problem my problem.
Yeah.
We said it as a joke lah. Okay, my mom and I are cool like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's my space, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
not asking you to come in or like clean my room. You know what I mean?
Unless it's like a public space, like living room.
Yeah, living room. Then you gotta do your job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So why do you guys think that our parents have such expectations of us?
Wow. I think it might be like a Asian mentality versus like Western culture.
Like what? We need to be
Western-
perfect. We need to be
No,
clean.
like Western culture is like you turn 18 or you go to college, I
get
kick you
out.
out. Get out.
Get out, man.
Get out. I don't expect you to do anything, but you just get out.
Yeah.
I feel like that used to be the case, but now it's not anymore.
Because they cannot afford to get out, right?
People still,
Yeah.
really, people still stay with their parents now until they're
Yeah,
30.
yeah.
Even when they're married, they still stay with their parents. It's very different now. I thought it was the same. And then I met Charlie and his parents, and I met like friends and parents, and I'm like, wow, actually it's very different. We are almost syncing up already.
Yeah, I think because you stay with your parents and you cohabitate until like adulthood, right? When you are more like aware of things and the ways of the world and you have like adult money and things like that, then there are these expectations that kick in lah. And I think it's also just by like proximity, right? When you see this person every day, then you will naturally have certain expectations for this person or people that you interact with.
I do feel that aside from that, socially or rather like our parents' generation, right? There's this comparison, like you know how mothers back then would always say, "Oh, how much your son score for PSLE?
Oh, yeah,
how
yeah,
much
yeah.
you score for PSLE?" So I think knowing that we kind of have the expectations of ourselves also. Like our parents kind of like force that on us. Then I
Yeah.
think that aside, it's also like generational stuff, right? Like their parents probably expect them to be doing very well in their careers and I don't know,
Yeah.
education
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
That's true. I feel like take away the familial tie, right? No one wants to feel like they're being taken advantage of. Like you do your part. You know, like I let you stay here rent free, then you at least chip in like by cleaning or cooking. The
Yeah.
least you can do, right, is keep it clean and not destroy and disrupt the mess of the house.
I think also it's a natural transition from like when you are a child and they need to take care of you, the dynamic just naturally evolves into like we are equals.
Yeah.
You need to
Correct.
you need to pull your own weight lah. Yeah. So it starts to become like a bit of like a housemate or roommate kind of vibe also.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about expectations today. How do you feel about all of these expectations being put on children?
I think inevitable, and I think it will carry on with our generation also. A lot of my friends would like to think that, oh, I was brought up a certain way, I didn't like it, so I want to like be a better parent or that kind of thing, right? But you will definitely have expectations of your child because you are investing so much into taking care of this being ma. So when they grow up, you will expect to like reap some reward from it, even though it might not be for your own personal benefit. It might just be like, I want to see this like this
Person do
this
well.
thing, this person do well lah. A good example would be if I pour in so much time and effort to like take care of a plant, then I better see the plant grow, man. Like if the plant like then miserable after like 10, 20 years, then yeah, don't feel good or yeah. So that's why you have the expectations, ma.
It's true. But it's
Like,
because of what you think is best for them and
Yeah.
it might not actually be best for them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? There needs to be some form of balance and respect
Yeah.
also. Yeah.
Balance for sure, but I think not realistic to tell people that like, oh, you shouldn't have expectations of your children.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Hot Pot. We are also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Me Listen.
And if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do.
And thanks once again for listening. We will see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Our podcast is gaining traction.
Hey, don't own self say own self, ah. Don't
Really?
own self say own self.
The day I was at F1, right? And it was the first time that somebody came out to me and said like, hey, I watched your podcast.
Oh my god.
Then I was so taken aback that I forgot that I was on a podcast. I said, you're the wrong person.
Like,
Then after, no, correct. Thank you.
oh my god.